Hi, I'm Abby. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm going to take you on a tour of my backyard. So this is my native garden, which was the first garden that was established when I moved into this house. And you can see right now it's early spring, so the phlox is blooming. It's really beautiful, and it always just like pops open one day. So let's take a look at the other things we've got going on back here. This is an aster, and I will tell you, aster is not very sociable. Well, it's overly sociable, and it's growing all over my yard. So I do not recommend this if you don't have a lot of space. It's a New England aster. It's beautiful. Pollinators love it, but you do have to keep after it. The thing is, you can see it grows in patches. I just dig these up and share them with people who want them. There's coneflower back here. There's actually some sweet williams that come up randomly. So they're not native, but they're very pretty, so I let them stay. This is hairy beard tongue. And over here, you can see that the aster is over there too. I think this is aster, so it should probably come out. There's more coneflower. I have a patch of black-eyed Susan, and then there's all this bee balm, which really could be separated because at this point it's just taking over. There's gray-headed coneflower in here. It's not one of my favorite plants because it always lops, like falls over. That's why I have this stick, so I just normally tie it. But everything in here will get mulched. I did also move a pen stem, hairy beard tongue over here, and it's a little sad because it's been super dry. This is like another aster that grew on its own, and it's actually much more manageable. It's much smaller, so I think my app identified it as a globe aster. It could go somewhere else. So that's what's going on in the native garden. As you can see, it's kind of coming to life. It definitely needs a little bit of love. I did some edging the other day, but it needs to be mulched as well. You're basically seeing everything before we do all the big work. So this was like a round garden at one point, but you can see some invasive plants have taken over and need to be removed. There's also, this is kind of what I consider the nursery, because when I have small plants, I just put them back here. Now, this is a really pretty catmint. I don't want it back here. I don't really have a place for it, so I might just dig it up and share it with someone. I did put sun drops in maybe last summer, and they actually spread quite a bit. So they are gonna be really beautiful when they come up. There's some yarrow back here as well. And that's like a nice normal sized yarrow. I had some giant yarrow. So this one's more manageable. And this is also some kind of bee balm, it looks like. I used to have spotted bee balm in this bed, so it could be that, but I'm not sure exactly. So I guess we'll find out. And here is our berry patch. This patch of berries, it had blackberries, black raspberries, and raspberries, which don't all play nice together, but I just put a bunch of berries in when I moved in. So these are the blackberries, and they really, they do really well. And the black raspberries down there, they have the more bluish canes. They do well also. So in the middle here where it's kind of empty, that's where the raspberries were. I pulled them out and put them on the other side of the yard. And then we're gonna be doing a project today. If you see all of the mounds of dirt, we're digging, post holes so that we can put in some like armature and some cables so that the berries can sort of be more organized. This is my strawberry patch. So I put lettuce in here last year, and I put strawberries in this year. I'm hoping that it will just kind of eventually fill in and be all full of berries. Now this area doesn't get like a ton of sun, but you can see there was a kale here, and it bolted because it's been just so hot. So you can see that's what I'm hoping for. I don't know, I might add some lettuce anyway because I think they go well together. Back here, this is another sort of area that I had dug out when I first moved in, and there are native plants in here, but we also moved our raspberries over here, and they're looking so much better. So they needed some space from the other berries, that's for sure. But if you look back at kind of this purple area back here, this is wild geranium, and then there's another wild geranium that's out of the camera here, and that has the white flowers. So that one back there, it makes purple flowers, this one makes white flowers. It's a very slow spreader, so it would be nice to have more, but I'm fine with what's going on. There's wild violets in here, and this eventually will probably just become more of a raspberry patch. Back here is my absolute favorite plant growing over this trellis. It is a coral honeysuckle. It's a native honeysuckle. It brings hummingbirds. I get to see them every summer, and it's really beautiful. So you can sort of see where the flowers are going to show up, if I can grab the right thing here. So this is gonna bloom into beautiful reddish pink blooms and attract birds and pollinators. So this is absolutely my favorite thing. I do want to mention this fence because we built it out of bamboo. In 2021, we went to Puerto Rico and did a bamboo workshop. So they have like the really thick bamboo there. We don't grow that native here. We have more of the thin kind. So we did treat it, we followed all the steps and made this really cool fence, but I don't know, it's probably gonna need to be redone at some point because you can see it splitting, but it is really beautiful and it was really fun to make and learn something new. Back here I have a Prunus americanus, which is a native plum, and I do have one in the front. I actually switched them at the beginning of the season because this one is much more shaped like the vase it's out, and for the front of the house, people, you think that might look a little messy. So I switched him back here, and then the other one is up front. It does have more of like a central leader shape, and I am going to keep it that way. And then any suckers that come are going to be pruned because these actually do make native thickets when they're left wild, and they're really good for birds and providing habitat that way. There's also a ton of comfrey back here. That's what this plant is. And I'm right next to the compost. So it's great because when the leaves fall, I just put them in the compost and they help accelerate that like breakdown. So this is a great place. I love the little flowers of the comfrey that they kind of hang down like little bells, and then the bees are always going up in there. So we'll see some of those once they start flowering. And of course, here's my helper, Sam Lee. He always has to help in the garden with everything. Right, buddy? Compost bin is back here. It has been redesigned quite a few times. I've lived in this house for about 5 years now, so we are always changing things. It's actually really hard to get these doors open because they sink, so I usually have to kick them up, or as you can see, it's not locked, and then we swap back and forth, and we have gotten really good compost out of here. That's just a pretty basic tour. I live on the edge of a city, so I'm not quite urban, but I'm definitely not quite suburban either. So I don't have a lot of space, but it's still plenty of space to grow food, to grow flowers, to create habitat. So you'll see there's always tools out and things like that because we're constantly doing projects. I'll keep you updated once we get that berry trellis set up. So I realized that I actually didn't show you my whole backyard. So this is how you enter through the trellis with the coral honeysuckle. And this is after we did all the work yesterday. So you can see that we have started to mulch the native gardens. And actually in the middle there, I took out the catmint and I separated the sundrops to kind of be in a circle around the fig. So we'll see if that actually turns out well. Obviously, we didn't get to mulching this bed or sort of cleaning it out yet, but I did want to give you an idea. I believe I live on like 1/10 of an acre, so we've done a lot with it. It sounds small, but it's a lot of work. We did put up this trellis. I'm not sure how it's going to work. Sometimes I can't I can't visualize things unless they're drawn out. So we tried this and I think it is going to work well. The berries already liked going up there. We put concrete blocks, so we're trying to block the suckers from coming out, and you can put soil in them and plant things. Hi, Sam Lee. He also wanted to say hello. But this is just the after, really. This is what my backyard looks like as a whole. And hopefully that gives you a little more idea of the space that I am working with. So thanks for watching my first official video, and subscribe if you want to see more garden content.